I had a radio show co-host who got pulled over for a DUI. They put him on the front page of the paper. They put out his attempt to walk the line DUI film.
Oh,
It
man,
was
you didn't tell me
everywhere.
this.
Oh, they got it released. This is when I did Sports Talk Radio. Good guy, by the way, really good guy. I don't name him on this show, but really good guy. Those of you who listened to Sports Talk Radio back in the day may remember this. Huge story. They put it everywhere. Former football player. And from that point forward, if I and now I'm going to jinx myself because inevitably I'm going to get pulled over for a DUI now. But if I know that I'm going to have a beer, I will not drive. I take Ubers everywhere. If I'm going to go out to a restaurant and I'm going to have a beer, I just totally presume that somebody out there is going to try to get me, right? If I have 2 beers at a restaurant and then I walk out and I get in a car and they hate me because of my opinions on whatever, that they're going to try to set me up. So I try to take Ubers everywhere. And that includes, I think, people should take Ubers to the airport. But this is good advice, I think, for anybody. You know, like you lived in New York City where you can easily get a taxi cab and walk around. For those of us who don't live in a big city, it was really hard to get a taxi cab. I remember back in the day getting taxi cabs to come to my house. You had to. It was like trying to order buy a house almost. It felt like I had to go through so many hoops to get somebody to show up. Then they didn't show up, and they weren't very good. Uber and Lyft changed the game. So I just think, given the era that we live in, that's probably the best money that you can spend if you're ever going to go out and have even one drink. I take Ubers everywhere.
Shall we pivot to the news cycle for a moment? How about we discuss...
Good advice.
Yes.
This is going to be pulled now when I inevitably get a DUI. People are going to be like, you didn't take a DUI. You didn't take an Uber that night, did you, Travis? But
I agree
try to
with
take
you.
Ubers everywhere.
I also secretly really enjoy falling asleep in the passenger seat while my wife, who's a very competent driver, takes us wherever we're going. Like I know that I drive more because I'm the guy, and that's just the expectation. The same way that I open doors. But I don't mind. I don't mind falling asleep.
I am terrified of Laura Travis's driving. Like
really? You're calling out her driving on the radio too. You guys, good thing you've been married 20 years.
You ever been in a car with a female driver? By the way, I'm trying to teach after the show today. I'm going to be out driving with my 16-year-old. I've been talking about this. This is by far the most terrifying thing. You ever been in a car as a male passenger when your wife or girlfriend like cuts somebody off and you're like, ooh, that was bad, and then the driver pulls up beside you?
Oh, yeah.
And you he's like flicking you off or he's angry. And I just want to tell him, hey, bud, you don't have to be in the passenger seat right now. Like, if anybody should be angry, it's me. Like, yeah, I understand you just got cut off. My mother-in-law, she is I hope she doesn't listen to this, maybe the worst driver on the planet.
Wait, you were just starting fires all over the place today in the third hour.
There are certain people that I just wouldn't get in the car with. My mother-in-law, like every time I've ever been in the car with her driving anywhere, there's like 746 times where we could in an accident. Miraculously, we don't get in an accident. But have you ever been in that situation where you've been in a car with someone and you're like, I would rather drive even if I hadn't slept for like 4 days in a row, maybe even on meth yourself, than drive with the person completely sober next to you.
I promise we will return to. I tried to veer the car into the news cycle, but we veered back into random Clay and Buck chat for a second here. The thing that honestly breaks me, like, if my choice is between this and waterboarding, I legitimately think I might choose waterboarding, is when you're in a car with somebody who, I don't know how to describe it other than kind of like keeps pushing the accelerator, almost like they're tapping their foot, but they're tapping the accelerator.
It's really tough.
So you go forward, like in little jolts. And then sometimes they will sit at a red light and they'll do the same thing on the parking brake. That's the only time I've actually gotten out of. I've been like, I can't. Like,
I've just gotten out of the car and been like, I can't ride with you right now.
I can't do it. Yes, correct. I've done that. That's the only time. Other than if you're going super fast and I think you might wrap us around a telephone pole, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? Because like you've probably done this before.
You're a pretty conservative driver. Like I thought when the first time I got in the car with you.
Oh wow!
I don't. It's like right. Like I felt like I was Miss Daisy and you were driving.
Wow! Look at this. Look at this talk.
I thought because you got the CIA background, maybe you get fancy driving lessons
We
like in the
do,
James Bond
but I'm
movies.
all about safety first, I will have you know. But now, just because it'll come out later and I don't want it to seem like I'm hiding, the only criticism I've ever gotten from my wife when I've been driving is, "Can you go a little faster?" Which is like,
Ooh, that is a stinging
it's
rebuke.
that hurt. It
I'm
hurt.
sorry.
I go pretty fast too, but I'm not fast enough. It hurt.
Yeah, that is really the wife saying, "I'm sorry, you're driving like a wuss. Could you please just start going a little bit fast?" Like that is an indictment.
To be
But I
fair,
will say, I thought you would be a faster driver the first time I got in the car
look at
with you.
this. The pylon it starts now. I just want to be honest with this
Where is
audience and
Carrie? I'm going to have to
let them
sign on to
know.
Carrie's criticism here.
She
Does Carrie drive
she's
faster than you?
like, it's maybe, I don't know. She goes fast. But I
Uh,
see, I don't think it's fair because here's another thing. Has Carrie ever gotten a ticket, Clay? No. Has she ever been pulled over? I'm sure. Has she ever gotten a ticket? No. Say, has Laura ever has your former Titans cheerleader wife ever gotten an actual speeding ticket, Clay?
That is
Probably
a
not.
fascinating question. I don't think if she hasn't told me.
Right.
I've gotten speeding tickets in 8 states.
Can I
I
also say
drive
this?
fast, but
Nice looking women. No one will ever know if they've been pulled over because there's no record of it because they don't get tickets. So they can pull the
true.
whole "I've never even been pulled over" thing, and how can you fact check them on that? So I'm just saying,
I don't
there's
think
some.
Laura has gotten a speeding ticket in I'm thinking about that now. At least if she has, she hasn't told me. Um, and I'm not surprised that Carrie hasn't
You
either.
check with her. You check with her. I bet she's been pulled over, but she has not gotten a ticket. Just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
Wait, is Allie is saying that I'm a maniac driver? Allie, have you been in the car and thought Clay drives like a crazy man?
Thank you, Allie from the top buckle, giving me this is like when Hulk Hogan needs the Ultimate Warrior to come running into the ring and do
Hold
a
on, I
body
didn't
slam
listen.
for him.
Allie, you think I drive like a crazy man? She
Yeah.
fled the studio because she didn't want
Oh,
to
she
actually
bounced.
have to come on the record.
She just rolled that hand grenade into this conversation and then made it. Apparently Clay drives like, I don't know if I've ever been in a car with you drive. Maybe, oh no, you took me to the airport once and you drive like a bat out of hell. I remember that now. Yeah.
I don't remember the airport drive, but that would
Or
probably
to
describe
Nashville. You
how I
drove me
go.
into Nashville and then I
Yeah,
drove to the airport. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 I do drive very fast, and aggressively.
Well,
So
you've all learned a lot about us and our personalities that are driving now, but we will return to whether or not the deep state will be able to destroy Donald Trump by seizing his buildings and assets here momentarily.
I bet Trump is a pretty aggressive driver. But I bet he hasn't driven
When
in
was the
40
last time you
years. But
think?
it's a good question.
I bet on the on the golf course, he drives that cart like a maniac.
I
I bet
bet
he hits
Trump
that
has.
accelerator.
I bet Trump has not driven since he was 50. Like he may have wanted to drive at some point, but at some point you get so wealthy. And in New York, there's probably you don't want to have to park. Like I'm sure he has like a driver. I bet, and certainly once he got involved in politics, he hasn't driven a car since then. Um, I bet it's been 30 years since he drove a car. That'd be a good question. We'll have to ask him next time he's on.